Thank you all for coming once again. I've got to go back to the kitchen. Rabbi?
Well, because this is Shabbat, we're trying to do all our preliminary stuff before the Sabbath starts. We're going to take some pictures and some video, and we also have some guest speakers. So let me start with calling your partner, Dennis Broglia. Why don't you come up and say a few words about your buddy Steve Menz.
First thing I would like to do, of course, is, as I understand it, Steve has been president of the synagogue at least twice. And I understand he does work for the synagogue on a management type basis. So I think the first thing is that members here of the synagogue deserve a round of applause for having survived his stewardship.
Thank you all for having me. Stewie and the rabbi called me and asked me to come to dinner and to speak. My first thought was, what am I going to say? But then they told me it was gross, and I go, yeah, I can do that. I mean, Steve and I's relationship is kind of based on making fun of each other, so it can kind of work out. We've known each other for a long time. I probably first met each other in the courthouse in a hallway where everybody kind of scurried around. We had a real small little bench trial in front of Judge Gossamer, and it was a nothing trial. We started at 1:30, and at 4:45, Judge Gossamer did the gavel and said, gentlemen, you make any arguments you want, if there's any evidence you want, you're going to be finished by 5 o'clock. The funny part about this is when Steve and I started working together 15 years ago, I'd tell the story to him. He had no idea we'd ever have a trial together. I mean, no concept. And, you know, I mean, his memory started to slip a little bit. If you have conversations with Steve, you have to fill in the blanks. He's over there and he'll say, like, recently we had lunch. We were talking about gun control. And he goes, you know, I'm really surprised. I'm really proud of dark hair ex-governor Manchin. Yeah, right. And then he said, but you know, he's not near as progressive as big ears President Obama. Yeah. Then he goes, but you know, last night I had a really long conversation with Chris Elizabeth, short woman, Elaine. But his memory is it's kind of getting a little worse. But he embraces his old age. He really does. I've never met anybody who's more diligent about senior discounts than Steve. And everywhere we go, it doesn't matter. Restaurants, hardware stores, turnpike. It just he is the only person I've ever known that asked for a senior discount for membership with AARP. have a rule. It's called the max. I don't know if you all golfers in the audience may remember Kevin Na, a professional golfer, drove way in the woods, was too stubborn to take a drive. And he chunked his way out and got a 16. Well, the rule, the max rule, is that no matter how many strokes Steve and I get, the most we have to write on the card is a 9. But he's diligent about his golf game. Every summer now, he goes down for a week at a golf school, has a pro teach him, and then at the end, he gets to go up to the caddy and play around the golf. He told me that last time he was down Pinehurst, at about the 16th hole, he drove the ball into the pine straw, and it was way back in there. And he'd done this on innumerable occasions. And so he gets back there and it's a really bad lie. He turns to his caddy and said, "What do you suggest?" And the caddy said, "Tennis." But actually, I stretched the truth a tad bit here. But this next story is what, well, I was going to say gospel, but let's just say very accurate. And it was, we were at Deer Run. It was a little 9-hole golf course. As a matter of fact, it's out of existence now. And we were on the 8th tee, and these two little boys came up and asked if they could play with us. And Steve, my man, we said sure, but I knew this wasn't going to bode well for my buddy's golf. He puts enough pressure on himself and doesn't need any outside pressure. So he kind of bumbles the 8th hole, and then we go to the 9th hole. And it's about a 175-yard carry over the water. But the three of us get over. Steve tees it up, hits it in the water. Tees it up again, hits it in the water. Tees it up the third time, hits it in the water. Takes his driver, stomps across the bridge, drops the ball, swings mildly, and tops it. And he goes about 10 yards. One of the good old boys comes up to me and goes, he gets pretty good distance with that driver. So in closing, Steve, I'd just like to say that you're one of the most decent, honest, righteous individuals I've ever had the pleasure to know. It's an honor to call you one of my best friends.
I gotta be serious one now. Now you all know that I'm a huge, huge Steve Max fan. He also is not only one of my best friends. Steve is the first person I spoke to on the phone from Charleston, West Virginia. He also was the first person that Meryl and I met when we touched down at Yeager Airport on March 21st, 1986. My fondness for him is so strong, I have memorabilia of Steve Max. Ask Meryl, downstairs in the basement, we have the luggage that we brought to Charleston. We didn't just bring it for nostalgia for B'nai Jacob. We brought it in honor of Steve. We keep it because of Steve. Steve was the president of the shul in 1986, and he greeted us at the airport for our weekend in Shabbat interview. And he insisted on taking the luggage from me. And I said, "Mr. Max, you don't have to do that." But you know Steve, he's very gracious, he's very dutiful, he's very deferential, he's respectful of the position of the rabbi, even though I was probably, what was he, 24? You were 83 at the time? And I said, no, it's okay. He said, "Rabbi, I got this." And he pulled it real hard, broke the handle. Then he put it in the car and it got snagged on the lock of the car. I was thinking it tore a gash. And I should have known back then that I was going to be entering into a lifelong relationship with someone who, I guess, to put it gently, not a klutz, uniquely coordinated. Steve Max is, as you probably know if you've been with him a lot, uniquely coordinated. Steve makes breakfast every single day for us at the synagogue. Sometimes the food actually gets to the table. Yeah, his specialty is poached egg sliders. We call them sliders because as he puts them on the plate in the kitchen, his rush to get them to the table, they slide off the plate and onto the floor. Steve also has hash brown sliders, French toast sliders. He has, what else do you have? What else do you have? Let's see. Oatmeal. You have spilled milk and your favorite Fruit Hoops. Bagel a la floor. Can't say Because once you fall down, your yarmulke falls and it's Anyway, his other specialty is what I would call his first aid turkey. It's called first aid turkey because whenever we have a Shabbat dinner or men's club, there's Steve going into the kitchen, usually Friday, says, I'm going to go ahead and go carve up the turkey. I go there a few minutes later to try to get a cup of coffee. Steve's not by the turkey. He's by the first aid kit, looking for bandages. He also makes a mean Med Express brisket, too. Steve is uniquely coordinated. You also know how to fix things, Steve. Yeah. In fact, you know a lot about home repairs. A few weeks ago, our commode wasn't working, and Steve came over. He gave that sigh of his, and he says, can you replace the unit if I get you the part? And I said, no. And he said, don't worry, I'll do it. He goes to Lowe's, very beautiful. He comes back right away, wrong part. He says, He takes it back, comes back with the right part, then he starts walking me through it. He says, I'm going to show you how to do this right. It's not hard. He gets under the floor. Now, he says, sometimes the piece is a little old, especially in an old house. You've got to really turn it hard. He takes the wrench, pulls real hard. The piece breaks, water gushes everywhere because he forgot to turn off the water. Gosh! Besides, you're uniquely coordinated, Steve. Steve has these mishaps from time to time, like yesterday, and the day before that, and the day before that. It didn't happen this past Sunday. It didn't happen Sunday. No, actually it did. He was, I was downstairs in the workout room. The water was almost empty, and of course, Terry didn't bring it up yet. So he gets up there, goes up, gets the tank, comes down, pulls the lid a little too hard. Water goes everywhere. But Steve saves his best spills for Shabbat. So be careful tonight. At the last bar mitzvah, I came to the synagogue a little earlier than normal with my brand new suit. Yeah, you know where this is going. Steve was in the kitchen with a cup of coffee, holding the door open for me to come through the kitchen door. A word of advice, don't go in the kitchen door. Steve's standing with a cup of coffee. He says, is that a new suit? It looks really nice. Steve's holding the door, hot cup in hand. He holds the screen door, but as he lets go of the screen door, he bumps his arm, coffee goes right on my suit. Uniquely coordinated. Steve Max, the spills, the broken objects, the band-aids, the emergency room. He had a major accident last week at the gym. I don't know if you remember that. That was a real accident for Steve. He saw the clock in the gym downstairs was off. You know, the clock downstairs. He reached up to bring it down, and as he's trying to adjust it, the yarmulke falls. He tries to grab the yarmulke. The clock starts losing, it starts losing the grip on it. The accident is he actually caught the clock. The clock actually didn't break. I mean, Steve must have been under the weather. I mean, there's so much to love about this man. The times throughout the day his yarmulke does fall off, including the classic time that Nancy reminded me of, when he was getting mad at someone who just walked into synagogue who did not wear a yarmulke when he was there. And he was complaining about people that come into synagogue and show no respect for people and our customs. And he wasn't wearing his yarmulke because his yarmulke had fallen down in the boiler room downstairs because he was trying to figure out why there wasn't any hot water, and he went upstairs to call the company. I love Steve's inability to go through services without getting the page right. Or the times at synagogue where after 2 hours on that darn computer of yours, meticulously going over a flyer, making sure it is picture perfect, only to discover after Nancy's already sent it, he did have everything perfect, except he forgot to include the date of the event. Now, Steve, we can do this all night. I know, I'm going to stop. But you know, here's what I was thinking. Baseball season has just begun. And Babe Ruth struck out 1,330 times in his career. He also struck out 30 times just in the World Series. And yet Babe Ruth is one of the greatest hitters of all time, 714 home runs. Apparently you got to swing and miss quite a bit to get home runs. And And let me tell you, Steve Max is one of our greatest hitters. He's up to bat every single day for the synagogue, for his community, for his family, for his friends. He's swinging hard. He's never caught looking, and that bat is never resting on his shoulder. If there's somebody that needs to volunteer for something, Steve doesn't wait. He steps forward. He never says he's too busy. He doesn't say he might not be able to do it. And when someone else drops the ball, he doesn't stare at it. He lives the maxim of our rabbis, where there is no man, strive to be a man. Steve tries to fix things. He tries to help out wherever he can. He tries to come forward. He's not a talker. He's a doer. There is no job at this synagogue that is beneath this man, whether it means climbing on top of the roof or being downstairs in the basement. No one's willing to do breakfast. Steve starts making his famous poached egg sliders. Someone has to fix something, and if he thinks, hey, I could save money for the shul because the shul deserves that, he will take that effort upon himself. He hears a person as yahrzeit for his father, and this is the one night Steve's told me, I'm not going to be there tonight. Steve's car is at shul that night. Now that person might not do it for someone else, but you can bet that Steve does it for others. Steve, you may fumble a page, but you never fumble the ball when it comes to helping someone. And yeah, that means an egg, or two, or a dozen slides off from time to time. Suitcases do get slashed. A floor does get flooded. And a suit does need to get periodically dry cleaned. And your ESPN not top 10 play videos would be hysterical, but your highlight reels are freaky scary. You hit it out of the park every single day. And there's never any swagger as he runs the bases. He's just doing it for his team. I lean very heavily on this guy. And he may have to clean up for himself quite a bit. But I will tell you, I want him always back to clean up. He overruns the bases quite a bit. But what an all-star. And again, he doesn't do it for cheers. He just loves the game of life. And he wants to do his part. And I wish more people would do that. Steve, you tower over the rest of us. Steve, tonight you're not the executive director of our congregation, and you're not my first president. You are a man. You're a man I look up to when I'm having a bad day and I'm frustrated, because when you're frustrated, what do? You roll up your sleeves and participate. You do your part to be a man. You're unafraid, you're unassuming, you're unwilling to take credit, you take the blame when it's not your fault, and then you give credit to others when it was your doing. You are the man. You are our inspiration on how to live life. Steve, I'm truly honored to say that you were the first person I talked to from Charleston. And you were the first person I shook hands with when I touched down at Beaver Airport. I do practice an overabundance of caution now when I wear a suit near you. But seeing you every day is a joy when I love being near you. You're a good man, you're a good friend, and you're a good Jew. And we are here to celebrate our friendship for you this Shabbat. And the Men's Club has a plaque that we'd like to present to you. The plaque reads, if you'd like to come forward. The B'nai Jacob Men's Club presents to Steve Max Man of the Year Award for his years of devotion and support to B'nai Jacob Synagogue and the Jewish community, April 19th, 2013.
Truly surprised and speechless that you guys showed up, and it's best not to say thank you.
What we'll do now is we'll have the evening service. It's about a 15-minute service. We'll do it here. You need the brown prayer books again. At the beginning now, if you're using any type of mechanical devices, it is the Sabbath, so we're asking you to turn those off. My dad's going to do that.